is a divine plan designed to initiate restoration in all areas of your life. In order to access this restoration, you have to activate it by taking the necessary actions. This is Infinite Restorer, a ray of hope to the world. My mission is to point you to the restoration switch so that you can start your restoration process. Restoration is a promise given to all. So let there be light. Greetings, greetings, greetings. As usual, it is a pleasure bringing to you this video. And my topic today is change the way you do your grocery shopping. And the first thing I want to talk about in this topic is making a list and sticking to it. Changing the way you grocery shop will only happen by changing your shopping habits, and that is by making a list. Especially when you want to eat healthy or when you're on a budget, the first thing that you need to do is take an inventory of what you already have in your pantry. So first, you're going to look into your pantry and see the food items or the ingredients that you already have. Then you plan out your meals for the week. So after planning out the meals that you want to prepare for the week, then you will know exactly the items that you need to buy at the grocery store. Having a thoughtfully and nutritionally prepared list of the groceries you want to buy and sticking to it when you go shopping will help you avoid grabbing those empty nutrition foods and drinks and beverages that tend to eat up your food budget. When you have a properly made list according to the nutritional needs that you have, you will be able now to choose foods, nutritionally dense foods like fruits, vegetables, meat, fish, and poultry. Making this change in your shopping habits will help you tremendously while grocery shopping. Not only will it make a difference in your shopping budget, but it will definitely have a positive effect on your health because you will make good nutritional choices. Removing junk food, processed foods, high carb snacks and drinks will help you to prevent mindless eating so that you stick to your health, or if you have weight loss goals, it's even better because you will have a clearly structured or defined list that will guide you when you go grocery shopping. Shopping without a list is dangerous to your budget. Here I want to touch upon a few benefits of having a grocery list. One, it drives your activities. Yeah, when you have a list, you know exactly what you are getting at the supermarket, which section of the supermarket you are going to, and to get the groceries that you need. So it drives your activities. Two, it helps you remember and it sets priority. I know this has happened to me on many occasions when I didn't have a list. I know I have everything in my head, like before I left the house about the stuff that I want to buy at the grocery store. But when I get there, I forget a lot of the things that I need to have, and I tend to take a lot of time, like in the supermarket, and browsing and looking for stuff. So having a list helps you to remember exactly the things that you need to get when you go to the supermarket, and you're able to prioritize them in the order that you need to select them when you go to the supermarket. As I said earlier, when you have a list, it saves time. It saves a lot of time at the supermarket, because you won't be browsing from aisle to aisle to aisle looking at stuff, because you know exactly what you want and which section of the supermarket to go and get it. So it saves you a lot of time at the supermarket. Also, having a list saves you money. How it saves you money? Because you already have a predetermined amount of money that you need to spend when you go to the grocery store, because you would have made a list in accordance with the meals that you want to prepare for the week. So you have a predetermined idea of how much money that you're going to spend at the supermarket. So it's not that you will just go and randomly pick up stuff. Sometimes the stuff that you pick up is not things that you really need. This brings me to the next point, that having a grocery list keeps you focused on what you really need. Yes, because by planning your meals in advance and making a grocery list, you are far less likely to succumb to temptation and buy impulsive items. And most times it's items that you do not need. And what happens is that when you buy items that you do not need, you put it in your freezer or your fridge or sometime in your pantry, and because you didn't really need it, because it wasn't something that you had planned to cook, because remember you had prepared a menu for the week. So because it wasn't something that you planned to cook, most times you find that those items may spoil, because it happens to me sometimes that I purchase something that I really didn't need, and I put it in the pantry or in the fridge, and then later when I look back, I said, oh my God, I didn't even know that I had this stuff here. I forgot that I have this thing here, and it spoils in the fridge. So we find that when we don't have a list and we do shopping without one, we tend to create a lot of problems for ourselves. Not only will we overspend when we go to the supermarket, but we waste our money by buying items that we really don't need at the time, and it is there in our pantry or there in our fridge for so long that after a time we gotta throw them out because they're expired or they're not good for us to use or to eat, consume. So let us endeavor to change the way we do grocery shopping by making a list. And it will be good for us, not only health-wise, nutritional-wise, but also financially wise. The next topic that I want to talk about in changing the way you do grocery shopping is reading food labels. Reading food labels is a healthy habit, and it's so very important to your health, to your diet, and your lifestyle. So you need to pay attention to labels before you purchase. Food labels provide information that's vital for your diet, especially if you are suffering from some chronic condition or sickness like hypertension, diabetes, or cardiovascular diseases. Reading food labels also help you identify sugar content in the items that you're purchasing. the amount of calories that the item have per serving. So if there's too much high fructose or corn syrup or added sugars, by reading the food labels, you will be able to see the content of these things in the food. It is also very important to know where your food is coming from and what it contains. So when you read the food label, you know exactly where this product was manufactured, because if the product was manufactured in some country or some state that it took a long time for it to get to the area where you're purchasing from, then it's very important that you know that, so you will have an idea about the nutrients in the food and the worthiness of the nutrients that are in the food. Because if they had to bring it from far places where there was a lot of extensive travel or processes involved, then sometime by the time it gets to the area that you are purchasing from, the food has already lost some of its nutritional value. So reading the food label is very important. Reading the food labels also help you to see the nutritional value of the food that you're purchasing. Compare between different brands before you buy. You could compare them like how you look. If you go to the supermarket, you want to buy cereals. So you look at one brand and you see the nutritional content of that brand. You may look at another brand and see the nutritional content of that other brand. So you're able to choose between that or the other, which is the best one for your nutritional needs. Also, if you have dietary changes with either additions or restrictions to your daily diet, or if you have an intolerance or allergy towards certain ingredients such as dairy, nuts, etc., it will be wise for you to read your food labels before you purchase any food in this grocery store. Some things that you need to look for on your food labels are things like the amount of calories in the food, the total fats, the saturated fats, the carbohydrates, the proteins, and the vitamins. Grocery shopping can be a bit overwhelming, especially when you are trying a new way of eating or you have some dietary restriction. I could remember when I first changed my lifestyle and was eating more healthy. It used to be very overwhelming for me when I go grocery shopping, because I now had to check all the labels of the food that I wanted to purchase, and I had to check the nutritional facts. So you find that at the front of the package food labels allow you to scan the shelves of the supermarket and gather information about products. However, it is up to us consumers to educate ourselves about which foods and food contents are best suited for our needs. So when shopping, you need to scan the shelf for certification icons and highlighted claims first. However, before deciding yes or no on a product, you need to flip the product over and read the ingredient list and check the nutritional facts to confirm if the food will work well for you. So let us look at the example here of this food label, and also I will give an explanation of some of the familiar icons that we see on our food labels. The first thing we're going to look at the nutritional facts section is the serving size. And the serving size is based on the amount of food most people eat at one time. Similar food products have similar serving sizes to make comparisons easier. The amount of serving per container is also listed. So this example have a serving size of 10 ounces, meaning that this is the required amount that is needed for a person to eat it in order to get the nutritional value. You only need to eat 4 ounces, and the amount of serving in this package is 5 servings. Then the calories. The calories measure how much energy you get from one serving of a particular food. So the label also tells you how many calories comes from fat. In this example, the calories that is coming from fat is 200. The food label also lists the nutrients that are considered the most important to most people's health. These nutrients are listed in order of their significance. Generally, people should be more concerned about nutrients that appear near the top of the label than nutrients that appear towards the bottom of the label. The percentage daily values show how much of the recommended amounts of these nutrients are in one serving. These percentages are based on a 2,000 calorie diet in this example. The total fat is the total amount of fat in one serving, and it's very important that you limit your consumption of saturated fat, trans fat, and cholesterol. Listing monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fat is optional in some food labels. Too much sodium can contribute to high blood pressure in people who are sensitive to sodium. So if you are sensitive to sodium, you have to limit your sodium intake. So by looking at this label here, we see that it has a sodium content in this product of 210 mg or milligrams. Carbohydrates, which include sugar, starches, and fiber, give you energy. So we must try to get more of your carbohydrates from fiber and fewer from sugar, because fiber has many health benefits. So in this example, we see that this product only have a dietary fiber of 2 grams against a total carbohydrate value of 15 grams. Proteins help build muscles. So lean meat, nuts, eggs, fish, and dry beans are good sources of proteins. Food labels also include vitamin A, vitamin C, calcium, and iron, because many people don't get enough of these important nutrients in their diets. So we need to look to see the content of these vitamins in the food that we're purchasing. Percentage daily values. This area of the label shows how a food fits into the overall daily diet. The recommended daily limits for total fat, saturated fat, cholesterol, and sodium, as well as the recommended daily amounts of carbohydrates and fibers, are shown for both a 2,000 calorie diet or a 2,500 calorie diet. Now let's look at some of the familiar icons that we may see on food labels. 100% vegan. This means that the food is free from animal product or animal byproducts. Soy-free means that the product is free from soybeans and all byproducts of soybeans. Soy is one of the top dietary allergens, said to cause problems like acne, asthma, and eczema in some persons. So if you're having certain allergens, dietary allergens, the soy is very important that you check your food label. Non-GMO means non-genetically modified organism. GMOs are novel organisms created in a laboratory using genetic modification or engineering techniques. Some high-risk GMO vegetables are like corn, soybeans, potatoes, papaya, squash, apples, sugar beets. And this is according to the Genetic Literacy Project. Organic. It means that this product is produced without using most conventional pesticides, herbicides, fertilizers made with synthetic ingredients or sewage sludge, bioengineering, or other forms of radiation. It is very good if we could try to eat more organic products. Gluten-free means that this food does not include gluten. Gluten is a protein found in foods like wheat, barley, rye, and gluten is also commonly added to processed foods such as canned and boxed items. Gluten is a binding agent that is added to food to keep them together. Some foods which contain gluten are like breads, pastas, gravies, cereals. And if you are gluten intolerant, you will find that you will have like things like abdominal pains, anxiety, bloating or gas, brain fog, trouble concentrating, fatigue, depression, and such like. So if some of these things may happen, it is wise for you to seek medical advice or from a nutrition or a dietitian so that they could determine whether you have a gluten intolerance. And if you have such, then you need to check the products that you buy to ensure that they are gluten-free. Non-pesticide speaks for themselves. I talked about this before, meaning that the product is free from pesticides. They didn't spray the product with a lot of pesticides at all. No pesticide was sprayed on the product. That's what it means. Sugar-free. According to the FDA, a food is considered sugar-free if it contains less than 0.5 grams of sugar per serving. No artificial colors or flavors. Artificial colors are food additives used to provide or enhance characteristic color in food products. And these colors are synthetically processed. So they are chemically made and added to the foods. Also, the artificial flavors are synthetic also, and they are made in laboratories. Plant-based means that it excludes animal products. So you find plant-based products like fruits, vegetables, whole grain, legumes, nuts, etc. The products are made from these items, these food items. So they are all minimally processed and they're plant-based. Dairy-free means that there is no milk or milk products included in the food. 100% keto means that it is a low carbohydrate diet. So if you have a dietary restriction for carbs, then this is good. A 100% keto friendly foods are good for you. In this video, I have only touched the surface about nutritional facts on food labels and some of these food icons. So it is imperative that you do your own research and so that you could get more in-depth knowledge or information about what these entails. So if we want to bring restoration to our health and to our bodies, we need to pay attention to how we do food shopping, and we need to change the way that we purchase our groceries when we go to the food to the food stores or to the supermarket, by first making a list of the things that we need, and also by checking our food labels. Thank you very much for listening, and please subscribe and like my videos so that I can keep bringing them. Thank you. Have a wonderful day and much blessings. Peace and love.